This video is to show you how to assemble the dual action leg extension and leg curl machine. First thing you want to do is get all your hardware and separate them, meaning put all of the same size screws and nuts and washers and match each other and put them in a separate pile. Put them in each other's pile to match each other like shown. So like these right here, there's more of these longer ones and only two of the shorter ones. So get them all lined up. And the key thing to keep in mind is most everything on here, not everything, not like the little screws, but the big bolts like that, you want to make sure there's a washer on both sides of the metal so you're not scratching the metal when you go to tighten up the bolts. And the screws like that, there'll be just one of these washers on there because you don't have a nut on the other side, so you'll just be putting a washer on one side. And what you want to do is start putting the machine together by setting the parts where they're going to go. Like right here, you have the upright that's going to hold your weight stack. Just stand that up, it'll stand on its own. Then you'll locate this piece with the pulley wheels on the back end of it, and you'll have 3 screw holes. So to get a little confusing on which one you want to use the holes towards the front. You're going to have a screw here, one in the middle and one near, so you can actually push this back or forward. But on this particular setup, you're going to use the 2 front holes. So set that in place, and you're going to get these short screws, and you're going to have a lock washer on towards the outside of the nut, and then a flat washer that's going to go there. Then you're going to locate this part here with the pulley arms, and you notice the half circle there. That's going to connect right to the front of this machine part right here. So that's going to go in there. And then this upright where your seat is, as you're seeing, just set that in place. And you're going to see this little half round plate before this goes on that will slide up against there. Then you will put the bolts from the outside in, and then put a nut and washer on the inside. Then locate this part in the back. That's going to go up against this back plate, and then the other end is going to go up against the back of the seat right here. The ones in the back plate is going to use those same 2 screws with the lock washers. You put the lock washer on first, and then put the flat washer on, and then bolt that in. These are the nuts and washers that's going to go on this side of the machine. And then same thing, that bracket right there is going to go on the outside of this machine. So you have one there and one there. That's going to go up against here and up against there. So start with that part, those parts right there first. And don't tighten up anything until you get all parts together first before you start tightening up anything. Because if you go to tighten it up as you're putting it on, you won't have any wiggle room to squeeze other parts together. Okay, after you got all of this together, you can tighten it up. It should look like the way you see in a picture. I left out that you have 2 bolts going into there as well. Your setup should look just like this one before you go to your next step. Now your next parts will be these 3 parts right here. You have this part right here with the little yellow pull plug on it, and it has the counterweight at the top. You have 2 holes right here. You're gonna slide the hole that's closer up to the counterweight onto this round circle right here, where you have these little slots that yellow plug will click into. So you're gonna slide it onto that shaft right there. So slide the one that's closer, that one right there, slide it into that part. Then you have this arm right here with the pad, the same thing. You're gonna slide that onto this upper part. And then when those two are on, you have this other leg right here with the shaft sticking out. You have the pin sticking out. That one's gonna stick into the lower half of this shaft right here with the weight at the top. You're gonna stick it at the bottom right there. Then you have this backrest. This is what's gonna hold your pad for your seat. That's gonna slide into that shaft right there where you see the yellow tab on the side. You're gonna make sure you have two holes cut out. So you have this one, which is gonna go up against that yellow tab to click in. Because on this side, you just have a straight cutout. So that'll be on the opposite side of it. So make sure you're putting it in, slide it in towards that side. Okay, just a note on this part right here with the weight, just make sure you're putting it behind this bar. Otherwise, these slots won't land into these holes if you try to put it in front of this bar. So slide that into the shaft. Then you will have 3 of these right here. They're gonna screw right into where you see the little screw tabs holes right there. Just screw those on there. There'll be 3. One there for that shaft and one right there. And as you see, that part will slide in there. Push the yellow tab back so it can slide into place. And you should look like this when it's done. Next step is locate the left and right arm. You see the metal as it bends underneath the machine, not on top. So let that L shape go on the bottom of it. Put them on both sides. The pipe will line up with the hole that's in the metal there, and just put a washer and nut on both ends and tighten that up. Then this plate right here will sit in these 2 holes right here. Then you will use the last 2 shortest of the long bolts that will go in this shaft here. So you're gonna have this sit right on top. Like so, with the smaller part of the frame going towards the back. And then once that's done, you're gonna assemble your pads. So that front pad, you'll see the thicker part right here. It's gonna go towards the front of this pad. Sit that on top. And then you're gonna have your back pad right there with the circle part towards the top. Then you're gonna be using these screws right here with a flat washer to screw all of those on. Next step is your weight stack. Locate these 2 rubber bushings. It doesn't matter whether they're upside down or right side up. You'll see little holes on the opposite side. It doesn't matter how you put them. And then get these 2 metal bars right here. They do have an upside down, right side up. You'll see these little indentations in the posts. They'll go upwards so they can slide up into this right here when you're done. And then to lock them in, you'll be using these clips right here to lock in the weight stack so they don't slide up or slide down. So once you put your weight stack on, then you're gonna lift it up in there, put one of those brackets, the little clips on the bottom so it doesn't fall down, and one on the top so it doesn't slide up. So first put your 2 rubber bushings on, put both your poles in, and then you're just gonna slide the weight stacks on top of them. The weight stacks do have an upside down, right side up. This is upside down with the plastic facing on top. This is right side up. So you want to make sure all of the plates are having this on top. And just load them all on and then put your clips on. Okay, before you put the clips on up top with the poles, I left out one step. The one plate that's attached to this pole, slide that on top after your last weight before attaching these poles to the top. Then as you see, you just put these little clips, pop these little clips on. If you ended up, you know, putting these on without putting that piece on, just grab pliers and pull those clips back off. Next step is your cable run. Your cable run, you're just gonna, in the front of the machine, just unravel the cable off of the wheel, and then you see that first wheel right there. Put it around that one, loop it through that one at the bottom, then go to the back, loop it around that one right there. On that black cover right there, when you're looping a wire through, you will have little tabs in there. You want to make sure you loop it around those tabs, these tabs right here. So loop it inside and then outside on the other one. Then once the cable is all ran, you just want to see if this need adjustment so you're not rubbing up against the plastic, so you can twist that plastic or loosen that nut up to be able to turn that plastic so you're not rubbing up against the plastic as the cable is going. Then on this pulley right here, you're gonna have to take it off to, this will be the only one you have to take off to run the cable through it. Otherwise, the wire is just gonna keep getting bunched up into the machine. So pull that one off, put the cable in, put that pulley back on, then run up over these two on the top. Then there's a hole back here. Just loop the wire down through the hole. Then you're gonna put this cable inside of here, and you'll have two little Allen head screws that will go in there to tighten up that cable. And you have like little adjustments here. If it's too tight, you can screw this out, back down on these nuts right here to get, you know, more slack in the cable. So once you get all the cables ran, you just want to make sure you have a nice tight snug where you don't have a play in the cables. This one is set right, that once I put the cables wire all the way in a hole, it'll tighten right up where you don't have slack in the lines. And that'll be your cable run. Just to show you an overview again from a different angle. Run it through that front pulley, go down to the bottom pulley, loop it around that one, going through those tabs, take off that pulley, run the line up, over these two, down through the hole, and down into that shaft. Next step is to put your side covers on. You're gonna locate these little clear plastic. You're gonna have 6 of these little clear plastic braces, and they're gonna have like a half round to them. So you're gonna put, you know, match the half round up against the pole and put a screw with a washer on them. Out of these screws, you're gonna have 2. These are the shorter ones. You're gonna use the longer ones. There's 3 sizes, these other longer ones. The longest ones, they go in a seat, which you should have already been done. Then you have one mid-size and you have the smaller one. So you're gonna use the mid-size ones. So screw all of those in. You're gonna have 3 on each side. Then you're gonna get these little, these screws right here, and they're gonna screw the panels in. You'll see the little holes on the side. You're gonna use a washer with those little screws, so otherwise they're just gonna go right through the hole. You wanna make sure this one, of course, is going towards the weight stack. So this will be your top, where you see kind of that little little cutout box right there. And you want to make sure, let's show you that. Let me just make sure I'm right. I place someone over there. Yes. So yes, this one go on this side with that little clear cover right there, the cutout that'll be up towards the top. So you can have access to the weights pin stack all the way at the bottom. If you flip it around, you won't have access to put that weight pin in the lower weight plates. Like I said, you're gonna line them up to the holes with that, according to that hole. Use those little screws with the washers and screw those in. Then after you're done with that, you're gonna find this cover right here. This is gonna slide right on top of all of those, and you'll see the 4 holes, 2 holes on each side. And you'll see the 2 holes there. Then you're gonna get the, you're gonna find the 4 screws. You're gonna see 4 skinnier screws than the ones we last used. That'll be those right there. Use those 4 skinnier screws and add a screw into that cover to keep that top cover on. Okay, a correction on the screws. I know I last said use a washer here. The screws will fall right through the washer, so you're just pretty much self-tapping those right through, right into the plastic. And then the cover up there, the plastic, this plastic will slide inside the plastic. It'll be over top, slide it down till you line those holes up and screw them in. And the next step, which is the easiest step, is just putting your decal stickers on the weight plates. And then far as the use of it, you have these pins for different adjustments. So when you're doing, say, the leg curls,